more possible than ever to become a global influence. So, hello, welcome to the Global Influence. I am Harry McGowan, and I am here with the Master of Relationships himself, Yok Hon. Hello, Yok. Good to see you here, buddy.
Hey Harry, it's a pleasure as always, and it's been a while since we last talked, but it's always good to see you.
I know. Yok and I go way back. I remember we started a podcast a few years ago called The Growth Gurus, where we started putting out content, exploring so many amazing ideas and expressing ourselves on a really cool level. And we've gone on a hiatus of the journey since then. And something I really value now that we get to experience together is our accountability group, which is so cool. We stay connected through that. And a couple of episodes ago, I was talking about it and how special it's been because how important is it to set up targets, set up goals, and not only do that by ourselves, but do that in a group and see each one of us how far we come. It's a really special thing, hey?
Yeah, absolutely agree. I would say that just the idea of learn of us in groups and making a commitment out loud, like a verbal commitment, is something that easily bolsters our capacity to be consistent.
Yeah. So really well said. Because there isn't it that there's that weird stigma that it's like, oh, don't share your goals with anyone. Don't share it out loud. And it's like, why? It becomes
Hmm.
more of like a, oh shit, I got to do that if it's shared out loud and we really set it up. Oh, I'm accountable to York. Yeah, I'm going to make sure I'm showing up for York and Matt so that they fucking, I'm going after this. It really matters. Hey, it makes a difference.
Yeah, totally agree. And I reckon, especially when it comes down to how good your relationship with your friends are, or the people you're working with, there's also some sort of like healthy competition to it. So it's
Yeah.
like encouraging each other to like, one up each other in a sense, but with like playfulness.
Yeah, it's inspiring, hey, because like when I see you rocking out with your social media like you are, I'm like, fuck, I got to be on that social media game. Like, yeah, gosh dang. And Matt, something I really admire about Matt, he takes care of himself so well. His self-care routines are fantastic. I'm like, fuck, I got to be doing stuff like that myself. And so it's wonderful to be inspired in that way. I get you. Hell yeah.
Exactly. I
And
think on the opposite,
yeah, you go.
I'm just gonna say on the opposite end of that, if you find yourself waning or there are moments where you're like, having tough times, the accountability group that we have is precisely something that helps us with those moments as well. So
Yeah.
we're like there for the good times and we're there for the hard times.
Oh yeah. Like, yeah, I totally see you. Those moments where it's like, I just need to get my thinking out right now. And I'm having a tough time with something that's come up for me or come up for my goals or just come up out of nowhere. Like, okay, I need to bring this here and get your guys' thoughts or just get your guys' validation. It's important, hey.
Yeah, we've all individually done it for each other too, which is really something I appreciate because it also kind of builds trust and helps with our level of vulnerability with each other.
Yeah, and I think that's really important. And that's where the goals can go deeper. Hey.
Exactly right.
Yeah, I love that. Awesome. Well, yes, if you haven't checked out the accountability episode, go check it out. If I can, I don't know if I can. It'll be a link. Yeah. Oh, yeah. So, yeah, tell me. So, I would love to, for the audience who is watching this right now, to get to know you and a bit more about your business and why you're here. So, I've got some questions. Give me a sec. So, I'd love to know. So, what is your business? Why does it matter for you? What are your services? And who are the people you're wanting to impact the most?
Okay, that's a couple of questions. Let's tackle them one at a time. What was the first question?
So, here we'll go two because I think they're interconnected.
Yeah,
What is your business and why
yeah,
does it matter for you?
got it. So I'm a relationship coach for men, and the aim towards it is to help like people who are, in any spectrum of the in the attachment theory of things in a relationship
Mm,
to build a better connection and relationship with each other. And that's through empowering yourself, effective communication, and just deepening the relationship through like unspoken means in which people don't really know these sorts of nuances in a relationship that really takes experience
yeah.
rather than just knowledge.
You're so right. It's like the unconscious mechanisms that so many people aren't aware of. Hey,
Yeah, exactly right, man.
yeah,
Especially
that's
with
powerful.
yeah. What would you say?
I said that's powerful.
Yeah, man. Yeah, I was gonna add that one of the powerful sort of unspoken things is like the idea of not needing to fix your partner
Mm,
too abruptly. There was a post that I just made today actually, which is like listening like beyond just the surface of things and not assuming that you know what the other person's map is.
yeah, it's like open hearing. Like, yeah, I really get that. Where you already know what the other person's going to say. If we have that attitude, like so many people do, we're so closed off to where they're truly at. That's powerful, man. And so, yeah, I want to know why does that matter to you so much? Why does exploring and serving and supporting relationships matter to you?
Yeah, that's a really good question. And it comes from somewhere really personal about myself. I've probably told you a couple of times by this point, but for those listening, I never really even knew what life coaching was before I started doing what was technically life coaching, which was I noticed that there was a rift in my family's relationship, especially after the divorce. And from there, I kind of started like mending that relationship with family, with my mum,
Yeah.
specifically at first. And then from there, I kind of like helped her with her relationship with her partner and kind of saved that relationship. But of course, at the same time, I was like working on myself, seeing what my gaps were and healing my wounds, my past triggers. And that helped me save my relationship with my wife. And from that, these two instances, I've just really wanted to give that to, those who are open to wanting to have that too.
Yeah, so you saw the power and how that's impacted your family and how the ripples will cause there, and then also with your own relationship with your wife. That's huge. So I can see how deeply that matters to you. And so I noticed my curiosity coming up straight away. Like, what was it like to support your mum on that level?
Um, it was I want to say challenging, but that's probably not the best word.
Mm,
I'd say it tested boundaries, like how much there's a threshold of like being a son and then like a mother being a mother that I had to cross in order to be like, okay, I need to kind of like my mom kind of started saying that I'm like wise or she sees me differently and more than just a son as a sort of equal in that sense. It was past that point that you kind of like get past this barrier of status
yeah.
and I guess pride of positioning.
Wow. That's profound.
Yeah. But
That's
once we crossed that threshold, there became this moment of like my mom says this to me a lot of times. She's like, I never realized that our relationship could be so great. And she's like
wow.
said
Oh,
that like maybe five, six times but at this point because we've broken so many boundaries of how vulnerable we can be with each other. Because she's just like, I'm talking to you about things that I've not told anybody or even my closest of friends or other family.
mm.
But it's just a
How
good
special is
testament.
that?
Yeah, I was just gonna say that's just a powerful testament to how close my relationship with my mom is now.
Yeah, that's beautiful, man. And it's a rare thing, hey. And I really connect with that myself with the layers I've been able to connect with my own mum as she's into life coaching and she helped me get into this space. And to be able to reach that point where the those status or those roles, familiar family roles that we've always had, when we go beyond that, it's a very special thing, and I think it's a really healthy way to mature and grow. And I've noticed it, like particularly being a very young man in this space, being consciously aware of seeing that happen. Because as children, we see our parents as these superheroes, these godlike figures that when in reality they're just human beings. And when we
Mhm.
get to be on that same level as them, you're not above me, I'm not below you. We're just two human beings learning on a journey together. It's a very special thing. And then to go beyond that and to really get to know our family, see what's coming up for them, and this not just the day-to-day norm, it's who they truly are, what they truly care about, parts of them that they've never shared before. It's a really rare thing. It's really special.
Yeah, that was a. I was gonna say that's a huge different like sort of wheelhouse when you talk about um like I'm trying to figure out how to language it.
It's okay. Take your time. You're not a light switch.
Yeah, more of a light bulb where it just kind of flickers because I'm just like, oh, I had it for a second, now I lost it. But
That's
yeah, I think when it came down to being able to see each other differently,
mm,
that journey was like pretty difficult because especially given my sort of like traditional Chinese upbringing, like that's semblance of like, oh, that's like my mum, and like my mum would be like, you're my son and you gotta listen to me, sort of thing. That
mm,
was like a cultural barrier that was like difficult to pass through.
mm,
Um, but I think it just came from the amount of actual change that she saw in me, and
mm.
then the change that she wanted, and that when she got it, that kind of like shifted.
Yeah, it's very, very powerful, and good on you for going there with her and wanting to support her on that level. Because I trust you saw a need and you saw and you had the tools to be able to be there, and so you did it. And I can imagine from supporting her relationship, not only her external one with her partner, but her internal one, that has truly made her experience of life a whole lot better. So good on you. Good on
Thanks,
you.
man. Share that a lot.
You're so
Yeah,
welcome.
this is one of those things where even if you didn't validate my experience, I have that internal confidence of like self-validation from just how good the relationship with my
Hell
family is.
yeah. Yeah,
But
I love that. You can see it, you can feel it. That's beautiful. Good on you, man. And tell me if you want to go straight into it, 'cause hell yeah, because I think this will be cool. And then tell me how did that impact your relationship? Love to know.
yeah, there was kind of like I think there was a sort of multiplicity thinking, like from TCI sort of thing, where I was like managing both my relationship with my mom at the same time.
Mm,
It came from like I remember the exact moment that I started feeling this urge to like want to give to or support other people the
mm.
same way I did for myself, which was like I read a personal development book by Stephen Covey, The Seven Habits,
Oh yeah, good.
Highly Effective People. And I read it and I was like, this feels like I'm reading something that's like a treasure or something that I know for sure people haven't read before. Otherwise, everybody would be treating everybody so much better.
I feel you.
But but yeah, I had this one moment reading it and I was just like, I want to be able to seek to understand than to be understood. That's like one of the principles in it.
Mm,
And once I started thinking that way, I was like, I reflected on how poorly I might have treated my mom, or maybe just like lack thereof being there for her, or just being a kid and just like being very reactive, or how the divorce thing impacted everyone. And
mm,
so I just had this conversation with my mom and just like validated her experience, letting
mm,
her know how much of a incredible mother that she was, being like a mother of three, with very little support elsewhere while working two jobs.
mm,
And just let her know that I wasn't like the best son to her. And it was like that moment where she felt seen and heard, and
mm.
she was like, and this is like a big testament to people's like awareness of things. She was like, I didn't know I needed to hear that. And she was like crying.
Yeah, wow. It's accountability, hey? Being accountable to how you showed up. Because it's an easy thing to just say it's kids being kids, but when that kid can grow up and totally own how they fell from grace, they didn't show up greatly. And to see them in that moment, like as we know through coaching, it's wounds that are unhealed, that are living within. And you got to be there and be a part of the healing process and create that restoration. Wow.
Yeah.
Go
100%. Actually, I just remembered the thing that I wanted to say before as well. Was there was a dismantling of my perception of my mom, which
on.
was like you were saying that they were like the best, they're like, like they're the best people in the world or they're our idols or something like that. It
Mm,
was actually from my wife telling me that I didn't experience a good childhood,
mm,
that I was like, oh, she isn't like that great. But it was from that experience of like seeing her different that helped with breaking down that wall.
yeah.
Like,
Isn't that interesting that we can be in that position? That I've seen it with so many different clients that they're still in that state where it's like, no, they were the best. My childhood was the best, and they don't allow themselves to go into the pain and the things that were unheard and unseen. And it's powerful to open up that door because the reality that there's a lot there that's currently, yeah, still being unseen, still being unheard. It's a massive journey for many. Yeah,
precisely.
very
And
powerful.
yeah, and all that to say as well, just circling back to like my relationship with my wife,
Yeah.
uh, is that's what I also gave to my wife.
Mm.
So these moments of like seeking to understand and to be understood helped me reflect on like I used to be like, why didn't my at the time girlfriend treat me better? Or why
Mm.
doesn't she understand me? And
Mm.
then I'm like, I reflected on myself and I was like, well, have I properly even understood her?
Yeah.
Have I treated her like better than how like she that I've already done?
I
And it
understand.
was from this reflection that I just started like validating and appreciating her. And she was like really weird. She felt really weird about it because she's like, "Who are you? Like, why are you saying this? Like, what do
What's
you want from
happening?
me?" Yeah, it was just so out of left field that I just
Yeah.
made a sudden pivot.
Mm.
But afterwards, like, after showing up for myself and being consistent with my actions, being like that I do believe in this, did
Yeah.
she start to trust it?
It wasn't something new or unfamiliar. It became something consistent. It became the man who you want to be.
Yeah. Yeah. And my performative, because that's like something that's in the stratosphere of things in culture now in relationships.
Yeah, and like and we've got to be a bit performative when we're trying something new as well. I
Mm.
think that's important. When we're being a different version of ourselves, this start's going to be clunky, and then as you got better and better at it, yeah, she opened up to that. That's wonderful, man. And so, like, what doors has that opened up for you and your wife, for Yo-Yo to and you to experience now?
Yeah. We say this a lot, and I say it a lot actually. But she appreciates and agrees with it, which is I don't believe that a lot of people have the relationship that my wife and I have. It
Mm.
sounds so it kind of sounds kind of wanky. But what I mean to say is the first 4 years of our relationship was like pretty much like really hard, really toxic, really tough. I
Mm.
don't even know how we managed to like get through it, sort of thing. But
Wow.
if like being a relationship coach and reflecting on that relationship, if I had heard this at the beginning of things and um I was like coaching myself or my wife in the relationship, I'd be like, I don't think this is a healthy relationship that you should stick with.
Wow. Yeah. So it shows that you guys have been through some major tough times, and the beauty of the of it, you can move and grow to another place. And so I
That,
see.
right.
Okay. So what were some of the challenges you guys experienced early on?
Um, oh man, there's a lot that are really personal that I'm not sure I can disclose, but
Yeah.
that kind of emphasizes the severity of it.
Yeah.
But
What were maybe some surface level experiences of it?
well, a lot of the times, like probably the worst sort of patterns that I noticed, that later on, once I like understood deeper than just my triggers cutting off the conversation completely,
Yeah.
was people are saying shit tests.
Yeah.
I guess like really what I'm saying is like she wanted to test me in whether or not I actually cared about her. And so
Yeah,
she threw out these like curveball questions or like one of the things that almost ended our relationship 4 years in. Um, we're having this car ride, and she was having this talk about like our future and like having a child, and I was like, I don't want to have a child. I'm not ready for that.
yeah,
And she's like, well, if we are going to have a child, we like if we do have a child, I'm just going to keep it. And there's no conversation around that, as if like my opinion or my decision didn't really matter.
okay,
Yeah. And it's like a collation of a lot of different things that became like the last straw that broke the camel's back with that conversation. So I was like so close to wanting to, I basically moved my stuff out and was like
yeah.
prepared to like leave.
Isn't it interesting? Like, as we go across the journey, like now where you're at, it's like, oh, we made it. We did it. We're in a great place. But there's moments like that, particularly in the beginning, where the boundaries, the expectations, the standards, what it means to be in a relationship, how we've got to be together, when they clash and when they clash hard, it's like, oh, we we were throwing the baby out with the bathwater. It's off. Like it can get to that so quickly, hey, when these different expectations, our maps of the world clash. It's huge, hey.
Yeah. Yeah, it definitely is. It kind of just goes back to the whole seek to understand then to be understood thing, or even just like understanding fully the other person's perspective or respecting each other's maps.
Yeah,
That if we can't do that, it becomes a pretty uphill relationship.
yeah. Oh
I
yeah,
think I think when you talk about like say um a lot of talk these days about relationships, like I'm not saying at all, but there is a
a lot.
there's a lot saying that there's a polarization of genders, which
Yeah.
is like men kind of stick to their group and say shit about women, and
Mm.
then women do the same, like vice versa. And it's the same sort of
Drama
narrative. Like,
cycle. Yeah.
what were we saying?
I was saying that, yeah, very much the drama cycle.
Yeah, yeah. Or the drama cycles, and also like the idea that there is this nature of like I want a person to be like this for me, like maybe to have like an like all the financial stuff or the external stuff, and
Yeah.
like needs to have this sort of like these demands in the relationship, and I will not settle for less. Or like if we have these problems, I will not like say because I deserve a person like that. I won't settle for anything less like that.
Yeah, powerful, powerful frame, man. And it's so clunky. And that's where all the surface level relationships play and stay when we're in that arena. And like for people who aren't really in a rock solid connection, they're not testing the boundaries, they're not testing the boat. It's like there's a fragility that can be formed in
Hmm.
that. And when you have actually gone there, you've gone to the depths and expressed so much of your opinions and really explored who each other are, and then gone in different directions, but then calibrated back to one another to see what's the best way forward, even if you're at two other ends. That's testing the measures, but there's growth of connection in that. Even if it gets rocky, even if it gets holy shit, if you find your way back and you commit to each other, that's the strength that gets formed in the bond. And that's
Exactly
what
right.
makes it really, really powerful. And so
Took the words out of my mouth, man.
thank you, brother. And I'll jump in that to relate with you. I remember early on in my relationship with Hannah, I remember there was a moment where she's like, well, I'm going to go to Barcelona and study. And I was like, I live in Bali. How can we organize ourselves together? And I was like, holy shit, I don't know if we can be together. I was scared in that moment. I was like, I don't want to feel this way. Fuck that. But that was daunting on me. The roads colliding, where it's like, I don't know if the roads continue together. Holy shit. I was getting really scared, really worried. And then just in that moment, I was like, well, fuck it. I've got to find a way because living in Bali isn't worth it in comparison to living with you and being with you. So I've got to go live in Barcelona. That's what I got to do. And so I really understand you in those moments where it's like shit's get tested. Can this continue? Is this going to be okay? If we don't have those moments, I don't think we're growing in the right direction.
Yeah, man. And I love that. Totally agree. And I also just really want to acknowledge that you went like above and beyond in your demonstration of your character there. I think that's amazing. Because like you could kind of like compromise, you could say no to each other. You could like
Go long distance.
do yeah, you could do something and build resentment within yourself because it feels like you've given up on something that you believe in. But you were able to like be like, I'm gonna go the next level up and build I'm gonna build my business over in Barcelona. A
Thank you
win-win.
for acknowledging it. It was fucking scary, man. Oh my God. It was tough. But we found a way. And I think when we step into arenas like we have, like the arena of business, the arena of personal development, or even the arena of being in relationships, and we say, I'm gonna find a way in pursuit of this. It's powerful what comes. And oh yeah, it's scary. Oh yeah, it's fearful. And what you become as a result of those scary moments, that is truly amazing.
Yeah.
So,
I think I was gonna say going full circle into like why I said, things got really bad in my relationship. How does that become like something amazing?
mm,
You and I started out like polar opposites.
mm,
And I like to use this example a lot, which is like, you could be in a relationship where the two of you are exactly the same. Nothing gets tested. And your relationship could be fine and be cruising for like, 20 odd years. But it's the
mm.
moments where like there is a challenge that comes up. Neither of you anticipate or like figure out, or you might suddenly come to the realization that they're not so same anymore. And it becomes a make or break situation.
Yeah.
But the thing is, like, my wife and I started the first 4 years in make or break mode. And what that really does is it forges like a diamond afterwards because it
Yeah.
went through so much pressure.
Yeah, I see you. Because, like, in the example that you just said, that steadiness, as soon as something rocks, and then the reality is, hey, there is differences. And there's an offensiveness about it. There's like a wrongness about it. Oh, that is a tough rabbit hole to go down. But if you're forged upon that you are different, and the beauty that you find in that through the tough times, it's wonderful what comes from it because you begin to appreciate those differences, not only need it. Like it's like that's non-compromisable to not have differences. It's like no,
Yeah.
we begin to love that. It's like I love that about her. I love that I
Yeah.
don't have that naturally. I'd love to have a go at it, and being with her gets me closer to be able to be more like her in ways that
Mm.
I'm not. It's a wonderful
Yeah.
gift, hey, those differences.
I think I think when you're talking about the differences, especially, it's so sorely needed in this current climate of like relationships.
Yeah,
Because some people become like they fall into this category of like denial, and they fall into these loops of dating, and they still follow the same like philosophy that I mentioned before about like no one's good enough for me. But it could be like an internal deep coping mechanism where we're telling ourselves that, but it's just like fear of that we're not being like up to standard ourselves, or we feel like we're not good enough like deeper underneath.
yeah. Yeah, really, really powerful. And it gets icky how that can unfold, hey, when
Mm.
that's not good enough that we feel that deeply inside about ourselves, but it's been reflecting onto other people. And yeah,
Yeah,
it's really a great cause of the loneliness that can be in the world, hey. Ah.
100%. It's interesting because you're saying that the differences are something that we can appreciate.
Mm,
I really love now how different my wife is
mm.
because I would have never done the things that I would have done alone if I didn't get to know her.
Yeah, well,
You know, because I used to be agnostic. I wasn't really into religion at all. I'm like getting more religious now. I
me
wouldn't say that
too.
I'm like a
I'm
nice. I wouldn't say that I'm like absolutely Buddhist, But there is a sort of like feeling inside of me that it's kind of ironically it goes back to like family a little bit. It feels good to know that someone has your back, sort of thing.
Yeah,
And
I
it just feels nice to believe in that.
yeah.
Even just that alone to have that spirituality is something that I lacked before. And I
Mm.
wouldn't have really adopted that as heavily if my wife wasn't in my life. And that just applies to like a lot of other sort of things too, like being more in nature, have a more like loving heart towards animals, and just having these conversations where it just broadens my horizons on things. Whereas before I could just be like judgmental or just like um one-sided in that sense.
Yeah, I see you. I feel you. Having someone to always communicate to, definitely in the religious form, it's a very special thing. And connecting with it, being grateful for it, it's powerful what can come. I'm certainly with you, my friend. I love it. And particularly on Buddhism, I remember learning so much when I first got into coaching. I learned from this podcast called the Secular Buddhism Podcast. That's all about learning the lessons of Buddhism, not necessarily through the lens of being religious, but through the lens of personal growth and personal development. And
Yeah.
oh my God, the teachings in it's amazing. It's truly beautiful and amazing. A topic for another time. Holy moly, we
Yeah.
got to go deep into that. So, okay, I want to thank you so much for sharing your past in relationships, and particularly how far you guys have come in your relationship, in your relationship with your family. And it really shows that you're actively here as not only just an expert, but as the student in that sense, that you're in this, you're applying the learnings, the lessons that you've learned along the way into your relationships. And like, yeah, it's not this airy fairy journey of we have it all together. There's some really tough times, and there will be more tough times to come. And how can we set ourselves up for that to move through that with as much grace, as much compassion, as much understanding as we can? It's a powerful thing. And so I want to know for all the people that want to get your support and have an experience with you, what services do you have within your business?
For me, it's pretty much just the one program. It's 12 sessions,
Yeah, hell yeah.
just 3 months. And it's going through exactly kind of like the process that I've mentioned throughout this my story, but also the stuff that I said at the beginning,
Mm,
which is empowering ourselves first. And what that means is healing the wounds that we've kind of like dictate our past or our present and even future. The capacity to be honest with ourselves, to reflect on what it is that we can improve and change in ourselves. Because I have a firm belief that if you want to improve your relationship, you want to be the change that you want to see in the relationship.
mm,
Much like how you said about like being a relationship coach, you can just like be one without having gone through a relationship yourself. There could be some sort of like imposter syndrome or a semblance of like lack of lived experience that just doesn't really cement how authentic you are to yourself, but also to your partner.
mm,
And so empowering yourself in that sense by healing your past,
mm.
helping men with aligning themselves with like the masculine values and their triggers.
Nice.
Um, but also understanding that it's not just about like masculinity. It's also about, how I've just talked about like the complementing in the relationship between like understanding your partner,
Mm,
understanding the connection with her and that feminine energy
mm.
is getting to know that as well.
Yeah, that's really powerful. It reminds me of that wonderful image you once drew of the yin and the yang.
Yeah.
I love that, what you created there. It's so important to flow into both. And I think, yeah, particularly in this day and age, I think it's unfortunate how much masculinity can be dragged through the mud. And it's something
Mhm.
that's really important to have a healthy level of masculinity and yes, being able to deeply access the feminine for every.
Yeah. I honestly challenge like the whole there's been a stigma with masculinity, and I think the reason why it was is because it's been misinformed. There's a
Yeah.
lot of red pill manosphere information. Much
Yeah.
like how there's like extremist feminism, I think like toxic masculinity is the polar opposite of it.
Yeah.
And we're just kind of like finding the middle ground there, realizing that balance of the two is actually necessary.
Yeah.
Uh, but yeah, beyond that, it's effective communication.
Nice.
And I say like eliminating toxic arguments and
Mm,
building traction. But the reason why I say eliminate toxic arguments is because it's not arguments itself. I
mm.
think it's important to have arguments because it's
Oh,
through those that you build understanding.
yeah. Argue elegantly, I like to say.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Nice.
I like that. I usually say it's just problem solving, really. It's
Yeah.
really just being on the same page or, seeking to understand and then to be understood.
Yeah. And bring and having an opinion, there's going to be those polar opposites as we can experience. And then through that, I think we bridge our understanding even further. So yeah, I really like that, man. And I think anybody who's in the relationship space who's like, oh, arguments are bad, you shouldn't have them. They're clearly not in a relationship.
Mhm. Yeah, it's pretty funny how a lot of thought leaders in the manosphere world are either single or they were in a relationship and it turned out to be really abusive. Like the vast majority of people in
Yeah,
that field have that relationship, and I just found it really interesting that there's a that's the connection there.
yeah, it is interesting, and they can particularly the top, let's think of that as like the alpha like energy. Yeah, we're going to be pushing people aside to get to the top.
Mm.
It can be very intense. So I see you. And so people can go on a 3 month journey with you, which is amazing, across 12 sessions. That's weekly.
Yes.
Yeah, nice. Wonderful. And so I also know you have a Facebook group as well. So people can access a Facebook group.
Yep, that's correct.
Like,
Yeah. So there'll be groups strictly made to help people with like effective communication. That's the posts that I create, but also on occasion with usually a survey or just a questionnaire or just a vote in the group, they can kind of like discuss what they want to have a Q&A around, much
nice.
like something similar to this, and then we kind of just go through the answers on it.
Oh, I love it. Hell yeah. And so is that strictly to only members or anyone can join?
Members only, but I usually reach out. You can reach out to me through my profile or just through the groups.
Okay. All right. And so how can someone become a member?
You just reach out. I mean, so you're in,
Oh,
depending on your answers, of course.
okay. Great. So do they need to be a one-on-one client or is it separate? Just curious.
Yeah, so the group is like a free group. There's no
Yeah.
strings attached to it. And then if you want to work like one-on-one with me, then you can go through that avenue by like reaching out to me through the group
Beautiful.
or just DMing me.
Gotcha. Okay. So if you're a man right now and you want some support in firstly yourself and your relationship skills, finding a relationship, just coming and joining that group, definitely recommend to do that. And then for what those who are really committed and want to make a difference within their relationship, within themselves, definitely come and work with you one on one. Hell yeah. Love it.
Hell yeah. Sounds
Love
good.
it. Okay. So what I'll do is I'll get links to be able to connect with you in the comments. So check the description. We're on YouTube now. So check the description. Yok will be there and you'll be able to reach out and connect with him. And so I want to know, brother, I want to know what what is this year going to mean for you and your business and your impact? What is something that you want to create in 2026?
Hmm. That's a really good question. Don't have like, there's the whole states versus goals
Yeah.
and mostly aiming towards just like the journey of things, not the destination. And so it really is just reaching and supporting as many people as I can and just bringing success to myself and others in the same way
Oh,
that I've done so with my family and other people out there.
Good on you, man. Yeah, keep going. Keep keep raising the scale. I love it. Good on you, brother. And so, okay. Okay. So, continue rocking and rolling. So, I got some questions for you. I want to know. Oh, I'll pick a couple of them. So, what patterns do you see mostly that quietly sabotage relationships?
Mm. It really just goes back to the conversation that we're having earlier about the map is not the territory.
Yeah.
People are under the illusion that the same conversation has taken place between like the two of them.
Mm.
And what I mean by that is like it's almost like, that's something I really appreciated with my relationship is like language barrier.
Yeah.
We could be speaking the same language and we could still be having a language barrier because we don't understand each other like
Yeah.
correctly.
The true meaning of the words that we're using in that very moment. I totally
Yeah.
understand.
Sometimes we kind of misinterpret the intention of what something means. Sometimes, and this is like the less quiet answer, our triggers fill in the blanks for us.
Yeah.
And we just kind of assume, or it kind of like trips us and makes us defensive, and that completely sabotages the conversation altogether. But I
Mm.
would say that these two things are like integral. And like first of all, like what makes a great a relationship is communication.
Yeah.
And these are the saboteurs of communication, I would say.
Yeah. Yeah. You're so right. And oh, how many times like I've noticed this. I've said something that in my mind was such a wonderful thing, and it was not taken that way.
Yeah.
It was not taken that way at all. And then it's like, oh shit, that doesn't mean the same thing it does for me that it does for you.
Yeah. Now,
And
I've got a couple of funny examples that is it all right if I pull up because it's really simple to grasp and I think it applies really well.
nice.
Um, at the beginning of my relationship with she didn't quite understand like English too good on certain things or the gravity of words.
Oh, oh yeah.
And I was like kidding with her and I said, "Oh, you dummy." And when I said that, I said it in a cute way or whatever, but she thought it meant like you moron or you idiot.
Yeah.
And it was like in a bad way. She's like, "Fuck you." Call me, don't call me dummy.
I get you. It's like, stop being silly. It's like, silly? What? Like, what? What do you mean? I'm
It's
so
like it's like when we talk about our triggers interpret things and enlarge them or they make them way more aggressive than we thought they were. Or sometimes we didn't even say it in that way, but we just interpreted it that way because of our triggers. And
yeah.
I think something like as simple as that language barrier there is like the same thing. I've
Yeah.
actually had a we actually had a fight one time like for quite a long time. It sounds like such a funny joke looking in hindsight. But she was like we were like getting into a fight and she was name calling me.
Mm,
And I was like, "Can you please stop calling me names?" Like
mm.
I find that so offensive. And she's like, "Why? I can like call you as many names as I want. It's not a big deal." I'm just like, "No, it's disrespectful." She's like, "What's wrong with me calling you Yuck?" I'm like, "Oh." And I'm just like, I had to go through this phase of like, God damn it. Like you didn't know that. And then afterwards I'm like, well, that's on me. I don't need to
Yeah.
be angry at this. And then I
Jack.
pull out.
Don't call me names. What? Your
Yeah.
name's Jock. How well
Yeah. So
said
funny.
that. No, I see you, man. I certainly see you. Like, it's funny. I think Hannah and I have, like, tr I'll use the word transmuted one of those situations. And I think that's the beauty of, like, tough moments that can turn into, like, wonderful, cherishable moments. Like,
Yeah.
like I think with the word cheeky, I remember the first time I called Hannah cheeky, she stopped, like, dead. Like, I'm not cheeky. Oh, shit. I was like, oh shit. And that it was like a big moment. But then moving forward, like now it's still funny. It'll still stop her and she'll go, I'm not cheeky, but it's a funny, fun moment now. and it's full of
Mm,
love. But the first time I was like, whoa,
yeah.
oh no, pushing boundaries there.
Yeah, 100%, man. I think a parallel, if I had to put it into tangible context, is like, a trigger that I had, which I misinterpret things,
Mm,
was like if my wife was like, if you said something like, I'm sometimes like I'm like your mum or something like that. She
mm,
was like saying it to be endearing or like jokingly.
yeah.
But I took it very personal because I'm just like, what, you think I'm fucking a child? You think I
Call me
can't
a
like,
boy.
you think I'm not a man sort of thing? Like all these triggers these defensive like ways that we can perceive things
Yeah,
immediately can, like start to collapse the conversation.
yeah, and just take it one other way.
Mm,
It can it's very interesting how the identity can pop up and play around with things there. But yeah,
yeah,
nice. I certainly see that. How the bit one of the biggest patterns, misinterpretation or miscommunication of what we're truly saying, and going back to that, seeking to understand rather than be seeking to understood.
yeah,
It's very, very important. Like truly wanting to know what somebody meant, particularly if you feel pissed off about it in an instance, going,
yes.
"Whoa, I'm noticing I feel this way about what you just said. What did you really mean by that?" Rather than being like, "You fucking meant this and what the fuck?" Like,
Mm,
whoa, slow down. And when we learn to slow down and truly want to dig up the meaning, that's when we can truly know what we're dealing with. But if we just assume and we just dive into the what you meant and how that's pissed me off and how that's affected me, it's
yeah,
dangerous. Hey.
yeah, exactly right. But there's also and especially true when there's like these unspoken things that like another part of what I do is like helping people by deepening the relationships. That's another pillar that I do and helping people, helping guys out there, specifically around knowing um, things that you didn't know
Yeah.
that was part of the relationship that you can improve upon. Like some people, for example, like some clients, they're like, I don't know why my relationship's like down in the dumps that I can't like talk to my wife this way.
Mm,
And one concept that I like kind of teach is like the idea of like emotional bank accounts. I'm
mm,
like, it sounds
nice.
like your emotional bank account's like overdrawn. That you've been maybe there's trust that's been broken, or maybe you guys have said things to each other or blamed each other like far too long that resentments have been built. You're asking to withdraw some emotional support or trust, but yeah, like is it? I asked the question, is it really that crazy to understand that you can't access that because your relationship level isn't that high enough?
Yeah.
And it's like moments like
Your
these,
credit score is low, bro.
yeah, and it's moments like these where like it's actually kind of a relief to know that. It's like, oh, it's just a logical thing. There's nothing wrong with myself or something like that.
Yeah. It's helping you understand the moment so much more clearly. Because yeah, if we've constantly been in that moment of let's say the mistrust or not showing up in a certain way. And then we demand them to show up in a certain way. They're like, what the fuck? We ain't there. And so by putting the work in more, getting that credit score up, you could say I really like the framework. It helps us know there's like a way forward in that. But if it's just happening and it's like this person is constantly just pissed off at me when I'm asking for support, it's like,
Mm,
well, how have you been supporting them? Piss poor. Like, well, no shit. So, no, it's a very powerful frame. And I love that because, yeah, as you said, it gives the understanding. So then we're not confused there. So we can really work with that. It's a really good system. I like it. So,
shit.
for
Shit.
anybody listening to this right now, consider where is your emotional bank account at right now with yourself and with your partner? Really powerful. Really, really powerful. I like that. All right. So let's get into, I got 10 things, but we gotta only use two. All right. Whoa, 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 whoa. Okay. Okay. What boundaries are essential for long-term intimacy and respect?
Boundaries. Long-term intimacy and respect. First off, I would say having them is important. And
Yes.
we're both laughing about it because we're both life coaches around it, but a lot of the times people don't have boundaries.
No.
When we talk about like the island and the wave,
Yeah.
there's a polarity typically in relationships where someone has to be like the island and someone has to be the wave. Someone has to be the people pleaser and then someone has to be like the avoidant attachment.
Mm.
And it's through this push and pull that somehow there's a dysfunctional relationship that is somehow working, but it's like this void that kind of keeps on feeding into itself.
Yeah.
And so, in order to break that, is to have awareness that you don't have boundaries first off, but then establishing them is the next step. And that's especially hard for myself, for example. I come from anxious attachment. What
Mm.
that basically means is like people pleasing or the idea of like folding to other people's opinions over my own
Yeah.
because I grow up thinking I want to be humble, I don't want to be judgmental, or I want to be open-minded.
Mm.
But sometimes that can work against you, especially if your self-esteem is compromised or you th mistake being overly humble as a good thing, but it
Yeah.
starts becoming like you diminish yourself. A lot of people are like, oh, I don't deserve that, or you like, it's okay, it's no big deal.
That level of self-sacrifice becomes dangerous. I'm with you.
Yeah, and having said that, the next is being able to establish firm, I call it firm kindness.
Yeah,
The
no.
idea the idea of being solid with your boundaries, but
Mm.
not being like a dick about it.
Yeah. This is my
Being,
boundary. Fuck you. And like, no. Even though some of us might try that out the first go. I know them. But
well,
yeah.
I'm a big supporter of trying conversations, even though it's gonna get messy.
Yeah,
Because a
Jack
lot of
Hunter.
times it's yeah, a lot, I think that people should be allowed to try, and because it's all about giving chances to improve. If you don't do it at all, that's where like the big trouble comes up, where people just build resentments over a long term.
Yeah, and it's wonderful what starts happening there because let's say in the case where somebody has no boundaries, that the self experience in that would be very limited, right? And so if you're in a relationship and you feel like like you're literally like suffocating at times, it means you just don't have that boundary place where you can really work on yourself. And so maybe that first boundary is with you and yourself and try to work on yourself. That can be
Mm,
the first step, just making space for you. It's a very, very powerful boundary. So I'm with you. Yeah. That having boundaries, exploring that when most people don't have them, that's certainly step one. So nice. Would there be a really powerful boundary for people to, because that's a self boundary, let's say. What
mm.
about within the relationship? What's a very, very powerful boundary that you found to to put upon, I say consciously, the relationship?
Mm. One thing that's taken my relationship really far that I see a lot of success in most relationships is patience.
Mm,
Like
nice.
healthy patience though. Like dysfunctional patience is just like being treated like shit forever
You
and
punch me
thinking
in the
that's
face, one day she'll be better.
yeah, yeah,
Not like that.
yeah. But it's like allowing someone to feel seen and heard.
Yeah.
It's in because life is like a roller coaster. It's got ebbs and flows.
Mm,
There's always going to be conflict, or there's always going to be conflict outside of your relationship. But when it gets brought back into your relationship, you have to be there, especially as a guy too. And I think, especially as a guy, it's so sorely lacking in the relationship.
yeah.
And so when I say feel seen and heard, it means like when you're listening to your partner, don't immediately try to fix things. Try to understand everything clearly and really validating that experience. And a lot of people, especially people, and this is where, like, especially when we go into the manosphere, people roll their eyes because like, oh, Jesus, what a fucking pussy to like have to listen to your girlfriend on these things. Shouldn't she just like freaking sort of shit out or something like that? But
Yeah.
the truth is, like, when you're talking about, this idea of patience or this idea of like what a relationship is, you
And
don't
deep
want to be
connection. in comparison to whatever those guys have.
Exactly.
Mm,
Yeah. It's like we want to go from before it was would be dependency, right? When we say that we have no boundaries.
mm,
Then we go into codependency when we like break into our like boundaries between each other.
mm.
The idea that in a relationship you want to have is independent, but also interdependent, which is you have yourself so much, or you fill your cup so much that you're able to support that person because you love them, you care about them, but you know that you give that when you can.
Yeah, nice. Really well said. Because like that's a phenomenal value that so many of us, if we don't know it, need to learn. Interdependence. The
Mm,
connection between ourselves and our relationship and that other person. It's kind of like a wonderful Venn diagram. And
mm,
if it's any other way, I I'm just gonna say it straight up. It's unhealthy. If you don't have interdependence, you're in a unhealthy state. It, it's just true. And so nice boundary there, and nice value. Have a level of interdependence in your relationship, and that helps the respect and the long-term experience deeply. Love that, man. Beautiful. All right. One last little one. One last little one that I want to get from you.
let's
Okay,
go.
let's go. All right. Hmm. Ooh, I like this. Yeah, this is it. Because I know you work with a lot of men, and you have worked with a lot of men who have been single that want to attract relationships. I know you've been on that journey. And so, how do you help someone stop attracting the same type of unhealthy person?
That's a really good question. The answer to that is always, and this is like the beginning of my pillar, is empowering yourself, which is like
Yeah.
healing your triggers. The problem is you can't see red flags when you're a red flag yourself. And like it doesn't sound too nice, but it's a harsh, firm kindness that we have to be aware of. I would probably put that in a boundary section as well, which is being brutally honest with yourself in the relationship.
Yeah. You attract
Like,
who you are.
yeah,
Mm.
because if we're blind to what our triggers are, we keep getting triggered without knowing. And
Yeah.
that keeps repeating cycles and patterns that never end.
Yeah.
And it becomes a situation where you have to go, oh, well, either she has to change or I have to leave
Mm.
because you're not changing, because you're not reflecting. And so, for people out there who are, starting into relationships or looking for one and want to avoid red flags or even serving the manosphere where they're just like, I'm not trying to like look for a person that's got like a high body count or all this stuff.
Mm.
They seek out like looks as a huge thing to look for like a trophy wife, I assume.
Yeah.
Um, but that in itself is like projection. It's like
Yeah.
I'm looking for someone like that because I deserve someone that's good looking. But it's like that's your values.
Yeah.
You're seeking a red flag value right there.
Yeah. But that's the base standard or how it's so wonderful to feel so disconnected from that. Is if that is your main criteria for a
Yeah.
relationship, bro, the shallowness. And I don't say shallow traditionally, I mean the depth. There's no depth there. There's no care. That's
Mm.
big. That's really, really big.
Yeah, man. I think putting it into the positive, I would say that the more you heal, you also see green flags and you become a green flag yourself. You
Yeah.
become all these positive traits. It's like it's very interesting because I feel like the bar is quite low. Just like how, a lot of coaches, we get told that like just allowing a client to be seen and heard, the bar is very low because
Yeah.
most struggle with that. And I feel like if guys were able to just be more, if guys built emotional intelligence to like a level of like coaching,
Yeah.
you would see so much success in having like a real relationship, like a long-term relationship, I mean. Like if you're talking about dating, if you're talking about like one night stands, then I'm not the guy to talk to. This is a different ball game. If
Yeah.
I if that was the case, yeah, you should just do subscribe to like the red pill
Yeah.
because it in the dating space of just like sleeping, it's a very like primal like you have to like have all these external criteria to just be like, okay, I just want to fuck that guy.
Yeah.
That's-
Tick the box, tick the box, tick the box, tick the box. I'm in an
yeah.
instant. I'm with you. Yeah. And so,
Which is sorry to interrupt, but I was just gonna
bring it,
add,
bro. Bring it.
it's funny because it's those things that attract a red flag person.
Yeah.
Like a woman will, if a woman, like the thing is, guys will be like, oh, I want a woman like that. But the thing is, you don't, if you want a long-term relationship, you don't want a woman like that because they're seeing these red flags as good. And when they should be like, because I'm pretty sure they want to have a safe relationship in the long term too. And they don't just be sleeping around.
Yeah.
So
It's
it's
weird. It's
like,
weird. It's a good polarity there. It's like in those moments, those quick surface level moments, it's like the red flags are the green flags. It's like quite the opposite. And so I really love what you said there about as you open up to yourself, as you discover more about yourself and work on yourself, you become more of a green flag. And I think that only comes through understanding ourselves. Because if we're not working on ourselves, we're not caring about ourselves, the extent that we can care and be there for another human being would be very low in the situation where we're not there for ourselves. And so I love that that's your first pillar because, yeah, it starts with us. It's the classic saying of put your own oxygen mask on. By creating that space for you, working on yourself, supporting yourself, it's huge how that impacts all those around you and the world.
yeah, man. Yeah, I think the pillar is in proper chronological order because I could say communication first or, deepening the relationship first with these like unspoken rules, like these hacks, quote unquote. Not really hacks, but if you start with those first, what you'll come to realize is your triggers come out
Yeah.
from from having those conversations. You might not even genuinely like there are certain ways that you communicate to somebody, but
Mm.
if you speak from triggers, you might not even be able to deliver that message
Yeah.
you want it to, or it might be disingenuous. It might feel like you're faking it,
Yeah.
even. Whereas if you build on yourself, you heal your wounds, you actually retroactively improve your communication
Yeah. Oh,
because
yeah.
you naturally become more empathetic or you become um, more aligned to feeling safe or being closer to your authentic self.
Damn right. And the life you've created, where you're at today, is all built upon who you are and who you've been. And so that's we've got to address that. We've got to create change around that before we ever go to the deeper topics, the next levels. We've got to start with us. Yeah, nice. Really nice. Well, or one last little question for you, my friend. I want to thank you so much for going so deep with me tonight and expressing yourself and giving so much value. One last question. Cheeky question. Not too cheeky, but it's a little bit cheeky.
What do you mean by cheeky?
Good callback. So, if there was one thing that you could influence globally and create change with every human being on Earth, what do you think it would be? If you give them, you could send out drones to them right now, and then boom, these drones are like changed them. Transformation. What would it
Oh man, especially with like I don't want to get political into things, but just like with the landscape in which people have been so divisive in opinion and politics and gender and race.
be? Yeah.
Like if I could gift something to like to the world, it would just be it's so cliche, but it is like love. It is compassion. It
Mm.
is being more curious and understanding instead of judgmental and filled with like rage.
Yeah.
Because, like, and just like the philosophy of like hurt people, like,
Mm.
red pillars generally come from people who were hurt,
Mm.
probably by women and berated in a sense of their masculinity, and that's why they went in the direction that they did.
Mm.
They hurt people, and I think like when you talk about war, you talk about like, violence, it just creates more violence. The only way that you can dispel that is through understanding where that violence comes from,
Mm.
appreciating and respecting that story.
Mm.
Like I think a lot of the times And I mean, no, I know I'm sounding kind of divisive in the sense that like, red pillars believe this way, but there's a lot of compassion that I have towards people who are, like, quote unquote incels or people who are like looks maxing or people who are like in the manosphere. I have compassion for the sense that I know where that comes from because I was very close to becoming like an Andrew Tate figure before Andrew Tate was like really recognized, and
Mm.
I was
Um,
almost an incel as well. So I know how tough it is to be a guy out there and what information to follow, what healthy really means, and like we're all kind of like doing our best.
mm,
And so that's only like I could yeah, that's the only distinction that drives me from being on this talking to you that I rage and hate them
mm.
and instead of like what I'm doing now, which is just understanding them.
Yeah, helping guide them to a greater place. And yeah, really well said because it's crazy. It's crazy what has happened through history, what's happening right now. And if like one of your big messages tonight to seek to understand, if
Mm,
we all had that, we all had the love, the compassion to be able to do that,
mm.
imagine what could happen. And I'm wonderfully waiting for that world. I'm excited by the idea that it can be true, and I think with more people like yourself, people that are into this space, helping people come back to that grounded experience of love and relationships and communication, the quicker we can get there. So thank you for what you're doing, brother.
Appreciate it. Thank you, Harry. Thanks for having this conversation with me, man.
It's been a pleasure,
Um,
man.
and also kind of like a bit of an insight around that kind of just came up was
Mm,
how do we get to that? Because like it's important to wish it, but it's also important to like figure out how. For those that are listening and resonating with this, it's so tough to hear it, but like again, it's like being the change that you want to see in others, but paying forward a kindness goes leaps and bounds.
mm,
Like 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 this is a funny thing that happened today when I was like helping my wife and her family like move. Um, we had to like carry so much heavy stuff into a bus that like my wife's dad was gonna go into and travel like 8 hours back.
mm,
The guy that was driving, he like didn't help at all. Like her dad's pretty old too, so it's like pretty tough on him. I was like helping out. Um, but right before they left, my wife handed the driver a box of like cigarettes and some water.
yeah,
And from that one gesture, his demeanor changed a lot. And then my wife's like, "Could you please like take care of my dad?" And this is from experience on her side, so she knows it definitely is helpful. Like usually the drivers are nicer to them.
mm,
And it's just from these things like paying that kindness forward in life is where you're gonna see great changes. It's happened in like our life coaching journey where we just like support others, and there's so much fulfillment in that alone. But
mm,
we're rewarded in other aspects as well, of course.
mm.
But yeah, like the hard thing about here is it's hard to do that,
Yeah.
especially when our trust has been broken so much.
Mm, mm.
But it takes a lot of courage, and there
So
is a hmm?
it's the only way. We've got to
It's the
start
only way.
reflecting on ourselves and we've got to support those around us. I think not enough of us are invested in wanting to truly help those around us. And I love the job we get to do because it's it's birthed from that. It's like how can I help people the greatest possible way that I can? There's usually a massive resistance to helping one another. And what the fuck's up with that? That's got to change. That's got
Yeah,
to
like well, it's the I think the distrustful narrative is like, oh, if I do something, I'm gonna get tricked or I'm gonna get scammed or I'm gonna get like leveraged over. But that's precisely why you gotta heal your own wounds, so you recognize what's a
yeah.
scam and what's not.
Yeah.
And the more you heal yourself, the more capacity you have to put yourself out there in the first place. You strengthen yourself. And
Yeah.
so like if you were to do it, I guess it's a microcosm of like relationships or
Mm,
dating, I should say. a lot of people don't want to put themselves out there or try to date because they're scared of getting hurt. But if you improve yourself so much where none of these be things like become something you personalize, you become so mentally resilient.
Oh,
And I
yeah.
think the same thing is true with like how much capacity we are to pay this forward to society.
Oh, brother. What a phenomenal ending note there. That was so yeah, grow yourself to a point where putting yourself out there, it might be scary, but you just have so much trust in what you've built, who you've become. It becomes exciting. What a wonderful thing. I want to thank you so much again for tonight, brother. I've got to ask, what are some things that you'd maybe love to encourage people to do or things you want to let people know that you've got going on in your world?
Um, yeah, I guess I've got a YouTube channel. I've got Instagram, Facebook. If you'd like to subscribe or you'd like to check out my content or you'd like to join that group, feel free to check it out. I'll put it in the comments below.
Hell yeah, I'll chuck it in the description for sure. Check out Yok, the amazing things he's doing. And yeah, go on a journey with him to help you, your relationship, and where you're headed.